Does anybody have any comments, questions, concerns, anything about what Guru had to say?
I just really like how straightforward he is. There's no question what what we're supposed to do now. So
Right.
I like that the consistency of the message.
Guru's very clear.
Yeah.
And, he touched on a lot of subjects because he knew that he wasn't going to be personally with us very much longer. He knew this. This is the reason why, if you heard when he was talking, he says, I'm talking to you from my room. I'm talking to you through a wire. He wasn't there in person with them at this particular all day Christmas meditation. He was preparing the people that were there with him for how to be and act and function without his presence being there. He was preparing everyone. And so that's why we hear that he wasn't actually there. I remember one of the things Guru started out talking about first thing was that the important thing is not the length of meditation, but the depth of meditation. Right? Guru says it's important to go deep in meditation. It's not going to give us any help or any progress to sit there for hours even while our mind is running and thinking about everything else. We're not connecting with our source. We're not getting that eternal assurance. We're just sitting there forcing ourselves to sit still while our mind thinks of what everything we're going to do as soon as this is over with. Guru says that won't do. That won't work for us. Guru says what's important is that we go deep. Once we've practiced going deep and deeper each day, eventually we will be able to get very deep very quickly. And then we'll make that eternal connection quickly. And it's not necessarily necessary that then we sit for such a long time. The connection with our source, once we make it, the transformation of energy and knowledge and everything is instantaneous. And so the benefit doesn't come from sitting so long with a restless mind. Guru says the benefit comes from getting very still, very deep, and going longer and longer in that deep stillness. And even more importantly, to carry that inner stillness that we've cultivated into the activity of the world. So we're not just going to be sitting there. No one came to just sit and meditate. Not here, not on earth. I remember Guru also saying something about not being a slave to our senses, right? Katie's so correct when he's so consistent about that. He consistently reminds us that our senses can make us a slave and that we should work to, well, get disconnected from those senses, the necessary need for those senses. That's what those senses are, distractions to us that keep us from connecting to our source when we sit to concentrate on our source. I remember Guru said something about not dying, without the symphony of our life being finished. Don't die with the symphony of your life unfinished, Guru said. Guru says, finish all your desires. That's what we came here to do. And when we finish all our desires, then we'll be wanting to work on learning Kriya Yoga to get liberated from those desires and habits. And that way, we can experiment with Kriya Yoga. I remember Guru talking about that. Like scientists experimenting with things to prove their validity. That's why we want to experiment with it. That's why I say never believe what I'm telling you. Go out in the world and experience it for yourself. That's how we experiment with Kriya Yoga, to see if it's really true, to see if it's really real, so that we'll have that inner knowing and confidence for ourselves. You know, that's why Guru came. Guru came to dispense this idea and teaching of Kriya Yoga and an understanding of the scriptures, right? He wants us to understand what Christ originally meant, what Krishna originally meant. And this special dispensation of Kriya Yoga to help us. It's hard in this world. God knows that God put us in a tricky situation. This isn't an easy game of hide and seek. It's challenging. And with that challenge, God gave us the break, right? That every night we can dump the body, dump all of our thoughts and worries. Even the idea that we even have a body, it's gone when we sleep, right? Were you ever sleeping and wondering, if the body was doing okay? No, you never thought of it. We dump the body. We dump this consciousness of being human, right? Didn't Guru say that in the daytime we're mortal beings, but at night we become immortal beings? See, that's why everybody loves sleeping so much, right? That's when we're immortal. That's when we're in our true nature. I like to say that when we're awake during the day, that's when you're dreaming. And when you finally go to sleep and now you're free from the body and free, now you're in your real nature. Now you're done dreaming the dream, or at least one layer down. Right? Guru says it's a dream within a dream within a dream when we're dreaming here in this dream of life. But at night, we get the break, we get the rest. I remember Guru also said, don't practice hurriedly. We have to practice these teachings with full concentration and slowly and steadily. Just like when we first learned how to tie our shoes, we had to give it full concentration. Very carefully and slowly we did it. But as we practiced and practiced every day, we got to this point now where we can tie our shoes without even looking. In a split second. I can tie my shoes hopping on one foot while I'm walking, while I'm going. I do it sometimes. But we can't do our Kriya and our teachings that way. We have to practice them steadily, concentrating. Can't just rush through it, Guru. Slow and steady. Another real important point that I think Guru brought up is he started talking about the formless Christ, right? This idea of Christ consciousness. We want to recognize and give a lot of respect and love towards this person, Christ Yahshua, who was born a little over 2,000 years ago, who really showed us some really amazing things, right? This is the physical form of Christ, and we remember that. But isn't it that there's this other idea of Christ consciousness, of Christ, a formless Christ, an idea that isn't an actual person of Christ, but this idea of Christ that all of us can become, just as Christ Yahshua told us, these things I've done and greater things you will do. And so we can do that same thing, achieve that same Christ consciousness and be Christ's, just like Christ, the physical Christ Yahshua did 2,000 years ago. He used that non-physical, formless Christ consciousness, and in that same way we can do the same thing, working with the formless Christ. You see, it's important to recognize people like Christ and Patanjali and things like this, saints and sages of the past. But we don't want to get lost and only focused on that. The real thing is the essence of their teachings, the essence, right? And the essence is the formless Christ. The exterior or the exoteric idea of Christianity is worshiping and following the man, the person, Christ Yahshua, who lived so many years ago. But that deeper esoteric understanding of Christianity is when we go beyond the surface of the person of Christ Yahshua and go into the consciousness of Christ, the Christ consciousness, and have that born within us, the second coming of Christ, right? That's what the second coming of Christ is. When that formless Christ is awakened within us. I think that's a pretty important topic and distinction for us to really understand if we're real followers of Christ. That is. Anyone have any questions or comments or concerns about this formless Christ versus the, the form of Christ? Guru makes it pretty clear for us. I remember near the end, Guru was talking about how in the Bhagavad Gita, God says to get away from my ocean of suffering and delusion. Get away from my ocean of delusion. Right? God is hoping for us and cheering for us and encouraging us. Just like a good parent watching their children at the softball game is cheering for their children to hit that home run. But they don't go in and grab the bat and swing for the kids. Right? God gave us that freedom that we're going to swing on our own. Okay? And God's going to cheer us along and say, come on, you can do it. And that's why God says in the Bhagavad Gita, get away. Get away from my ocean, my world, my delusionary dream. God wants us to have this awakening, but God won't force it on us. Thank God for that. So yes, Guru covered a lot of information in less than an hour, right? Guru can give us so much information. And it's such a wonderful blessing to hear his voice. When I was sitting, I was thinking, how wonderful it would be to actually be there with Guru in person, But then I remembered the message he was trying to tell us and show us by not actually being there. He was trying to tell us to pay attention to the formless and not the form. And so I said, oh, forget the form then. I have the formless already. And so I was very content, very happy. I used to be a little troubled that I wasn't here with Guru. But as I kept meditating and meditating, I got this very strong feeling that I was here with Guru. I had that blessing already. And that now Guru says that I need to do it on my own now. I need to grow up. No, Guru's not holding my hand, walking through life. Guru says that's because I'm ready. Or Guru wouldn't be having me do that. If I needed to have Guru with me, then Guru would be here. I was with Guru then. And now Guru says, now you're growing up. You're going to have to walk on your own now. Right? I remember in the talk, Guru said something about how we, learning this, can then share it with others. Right? That's how Guru shows us the way and gets us to grow up spiritually. If we don't grow up spiritually and we always need our hand held, then how are we going to show others? How are we going to help others? Right? You don't see many 5-year-olds teaching in college. We have to grow up. We have to learn to be on our own, stand on our own spiritual feet, and then we can show others how. That's how Guru teaches. Not just by telling us what to do, but by actual physical examples. That's why Guru doesn't stay with us. Guru says, follow me. And where did Guru go? We have to follow Guru. Wow. Does anyone, I've talked an awful lot. Does anyone have anything they'd like to add? Well then, I hope everyone is enjoying this time with Yogananda. And we're going to do it. Going to keep on doing it. Let's see. What's the next one? The next one is to be a smile millionaire. Oh, that's a good one by Guru, right? Talking about that joy, right? Guru talked about that joy here tonight. For joy we came, for joy we live, and in that joy we all melt again, Guru said. But didn't he say, but it's not easy melting, especially when we have all kinds of attachments. When we have these attachments, it's very difficult. We can't melt back into our Creator's bliss. We have to keep wrestling with this delusion until, as Guru said, till we're done with it. And then we'll let go of it. We'll set it down and seek the greatest treasure, which is our source. And remember, I remember near the end there, Guru was also saying that in this Christmas talk, right? This was Christmas time. And so he said, what did he say? He said that Kriya Yoga is my greatest present to you. That's what Guru came to give us this gift of Kriya Yoga. But I remember he said, you don't have to get it. You already got it. We already have it. That's the surprise and trick of it all. Guru said, what he's bringing us is the realization and understanding, helping us realize and understanding. That's his gift. That's his present, his Christmas present to us. This idea of how can we get untangled from this delusion and get back to our source? What better gift could there be? We're souls. Gifts of the world will all rot away and be thrown away and left behind. We're divine beings. We like gifts of love and peace and harmony. And that's what Kriya Yoga gives us.